Start. Well, we will do a little bit of an introduction anyway. I am Scott Stein with Leonard and Finco Public Relations, and this is the second in our series of 6. That's part of Social Media for Business 2.0, Beyond the Basics. And I would be remiss if I didn't start out by pointing out that today, in fact, is Veterans Day. So if we do have any veterans on with us today, certainly thank you for all you do. And throughout the day, if it's great if you can, thank a veteran, whether it's through social media or in person, that'd be great. So just a little bit about me. I've been with Leonard and Finco now for about 20 years, doing everything that we do in public relations, and that certainly includes social media, which has grown exponentially in the last number of years. Prior to Leonard and Finco, I was in the news business as a radio news reporter and a short time in the newspaper business as well. Been doing social media here for quite some time, and but we've got some of those young experts as well along. So Katie, how about you?
Well, hi, everybody. My name is Katie Flanagan. I am one of the newer members of Leonard and Finco. I've been there for roughly 2 years now. I started off as an intern where I got my feet wet in the world of social media. I definitely have grown to love social media, but I also found its struggles. It's a constantly moving feature that we have available to us. But it's a great opportunity for you to connect with audiences across the world. You get to know a lot about culture. You get to know just a lot about what's going on in specific audiences that you may not actually have contact with on a personal face-to-face level. So I recommend, doing as much as you can with social media, even if it's just a little bit. And today's presentation is definitely a way that you guys can do that.
All right, and as I mentioned, this is the second in our series of 6 social media presentations that we're doing with the Chamber. During December and January, the LNF crew, Leonard and Finco crew, will dive into short stories, social media tools, maximizing LinkedIn, and social media advertising. But for today, really, it's really all about going live. And here's a look at the agenda for our program this morning, and we'll certainly keep it to less than an hour today. But just a few years ago, no one really was talking about or really going live on social media. But it's just one of the many changes that have taken place in the social media world, and there's no doubt that the changes will continue. But we'll talk about going live today and look at why you should consider going live, things that you need to think about, things you need to consider before you make that decision and before you actually dive into going live. We'll talk about some tools of the trade, some tips along the way, and we'll leave plenty of time at the end of our hour today for questions and answers. And hopefully we can provide all of the answers that you're looking for today.
All right, so why should you go live? Live streaming is a great opportunity to present information to your audience in a way that will come off as more casual and more personal. These live events can be scripted and planned out, but they will still give your audience that feeling that they're right there with you. So think of it as a way for your audience to be inside the boardroom with you, be there with you making decisions when there's big announcements to make, to give them a sneak peek behind the doors. So you can go live to promote events, either before, during, or after. So a lot of times you'll see this happen during sporting events to give you what's happening on the field. There are a ton of videos online of people demonstrating products or giving tutorials. So a live stream is a great opportunity to showcase a product that you have before it hits the consumer's hands. So for example, if you have a product coming out that you want to explain or give a little bit more detail from your mouth rather than them just reading off of packaging, going live is a great way to do that. If you have a new sale coming up or want to give your audience an update on how a sale is doing, so for example, if they have till 5 p.m. to take advantage of a coupon, hop online and do a live to encourage them to come in, show them your store, show them what stock is left. Many news stations will do Facebook Lives for breaking news to give you that on-the-scene feeling. Now, this is great, especially if they don't want to wait until the next on-air broadcast. So for example, they might do it for a traffic update or to let you know what's going on in the community for a big event. Live streams are great for when you need to give an update or announcement. That's like the biggest thing that you can do with these, especially in the world that we live in today where everything is virtual, hence this platform. So it's a great opportunity to safely give out a message to reach audiences in many different places in one spot. So if you're looking to do a ribbon cutting, or if you're looking to just showcase a new and improved feature that your company has, going live on social media is an awesome opportunity for you. It's also great for educational opportunities. So for example, what we're doing right now, we could easily transition over to a on live streaming site so we could put it on all of our social media channels. There are so many different reasons to go live, but you want to make sure you're finding the right reason. Going live takes time for both you and your audience. You don't want to waste an opportunity, especially if it would have been better in just a standard post. So for example, if you are going to be going live, but your statement is one sentence long and that's it, you don't have any other information to give, it's probably better just as a simple post on whatever platform you want. You want to make sure that the time you're putting into this is going to be beneficial for both you and your audience.
So things to consider once you've decided that you are, going to explore going live. There's a lot of things to take a look at. There are critical things I think that you need to consider. And one of those, well, I should say, in the real estate business, it's all about location, location, location. Well, that certainly should be a top consideration as well when it comes to the possibility of going live. You obviously want a location that makes sense for the type of event that you're doing, and also makes sense for your company. So it is the top item here. But the other items on this list are also things to consider, even with the location consideration. So is the location conducive to sound? Will you have your camera and microphone nearby, or will it be an announcement at a podium where you're several feet away and you have to take into other considerations for sound? Is the location have enough lighting? Or do you have to have some additional lighting? Do you need to bring in some lighting, a ring light or other thing? And we'll talk about some of that potential equipment that you may want to consider as well. Will you need electrical power? If you're going to do it outside, and you want to make sure that your camera, phone lasts long enough, you need power there, or for some other source. Make sure that power is nearby. Background is obviously very important, especially if you're, looking at branding. You want to make sure that you have the right background, whether that's your company logo in some form or another, or just a nice, beautiful background that can say something as well. If you're going right from your desk, you have to pay attention to what's behind you. You have to pay attention to what's on that bookshelf to make sure it's not something that you don't want people to see. And even stuff that's laying on your desk. Again, if it's a beautiful day and you want to do it outside, that's a great thought. But you got to make sure that you have the right location and the right situation to do that. In fact, I saw a live stream yesterday, and it was outdoors. And as you know, it was quite windy yesterday. I actually heard more wind blowing past the microphone, which was a number of feet away from the podium where the speaker was. And I actually heard more wind than I actually did hear the speaker. I did not understand what he was saying. So that wasn't a successful live stream. You have to take all of these things into consideration, and then we'll tell you about testing. We'll tell you about testing a few times this morning, because you want to make sure that everything works, especially if you've promoted an event and promoted your live stream. You want to make sure it's going to work when you hit that button to go live.
Exactly. And just because you've done it once doesn't mean it's going to be perfect every single time. So for some tools of the trade, There are many ways that you can go live, but here are just a few ways that you can do it to make your life a little bit easier. The first places that you can go are directly to the social platform that you want to go live on. So for example, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even YouTube all allow you to go live directly from their platform. LinkedIn is implementing a live function, but it's currently in the early adoption phase. So if you would like to take advantage of their live features, you do have to apply for that access. And then YouTube, even though they do allow you to go live directly on the platform, you do need to have a verified account with them in order to do so. With going live directly from the platform, you will get different customization options, such as stickers and frames and filters that you can apply to your video. The only downside with going live directly from a platform is that it limits in how many guests you can have, as well as if you want to implement any branding options, such as having your logo displayed on screen. So inside Facebook's Creator Studio, there is a specific place just for Facebook Live. In this section, you can set up a live stream that allows you to input your video from an outside source, such as a camera or a third-party program, which we will talk about in a little bit, or you can just simply go off of your computer's camera. You can utilize this section to display polls and questions for your audience to answer while you're doing the live. You can also invite guests to your live streams, and then a bunch of other options as well. If you have never gone live on Facebook before, I would recommend doing a simple video through your page rather than going straight to this Creator Studio section. This way you can get more comfortable with how to do live without all of these added steps and setting up a whole production. So what I mean by this is you would just go directly to your Facebook page, and where the option is to write a post, there is a button there that you can just click that says go live. And I recommend doing that first, just so that you can get more comfortable, figure out how you want to hold your phone or how you want to hold your camera. It's just a little bit easier to transition into doing these than just going straight to this section. So why should you go live directly from a social platform? By live streaming directly to the platform, you know for sure that you are targeting your audience. There isn't a middleman to get in the way. So for example, if you're using a third party, you have to go to that third party, which then takes you to your social media site to stream on. So you don't have to go through that. You know exactly that you are opening up the Facebook app, you're hitting that live button, and you are going live from that. It's just a little more comfortable doing it. Favorite social media platforms all have mobile-friendly apps. You can go to live directly from your phone, which when you're going live, a lot of these things are set up as if you are going from your phone. So if you have your phone with you all the time, you can go live wherever you are, whenever. Also, by going directly to the platform, you're making a conscious decision that this is the best place for your message. So if you are going directly to the platform, unless you have a really fancy phone that I don't know about, you can only go live to one platform at a time. So you are saying that I want to do this message on this platform at this time because it is the best that I can do across the board. If you're looking to make things even easier for yourself, there are plenty of third-party sites that you can use to stream videos to various social platforms. These sites make streaming presentations, guest interviews, and even webinars such as this more organized and functional for everyone. Side note, you can use Zoom to stream live to social media channels. However, the downside with these sites is that they do cost money to get custom features such as branding and streaming to multiple platforms at once. So for example, some of these sites are Restream, Wirecast, Beelive, and Streamyard. And then for you guys, I did put in what their costs are. So for today, we're going to give you an inside look into the platforms Beelive and Streamyard. Beelive is a third-party streaming site that offers a lot of cool ways to go live. The free version allows you to have 3 videos a month with 2 people on screen at that time. If you opt for the paid version, which starts at $25 a month, you can get unlimited videos, custom branding, and you can have up to 4 people on camera. You can edit your streams when they are done directly on Beelive. So if you do a live stream and you want to edit it down further for something different, you have that option. Once you have that downloaded, you can post it again to any platform. You can use it for your website. Beelive also gives you an option to record without even going live. So for example, if you don't have the ability to record your screen for a presentation that you need to hand off to a coworker or your boss, you can use Beelive for that. With this site, you can make it just a lot more interesting for your viewers to want to keep watching your lives. So within Beelive, you have 2 different ways to communicate on the site. You have the ability to view all of the live comments as they happen, and you can respond while you are on the site. So you don't need to have a window open for Beelive and a window open for Facebook to view the comments. You could just do that all right in Beelive. You also have the option to select a specific comment to be displayed right on the screen during your live broadcast for the whole audience to see. This is great if there's a specific question that you want to address immediately. So for example, if you see somebody comment something and say, hey, this is a question that I get asked a lot and I want to discuss it, you can just bring that comment and have it displayed right on screen. There's also a function that allows you to communicate with your guests offline so that your audience doesn't know. This is helpful if you need to ask a question to your guests without stopping the live broadcast. So for example, if Scott and I are doing this broadcast, if I need to ask him a quick question because I realize we have to have a video up, but I don't remember who's doing what, I can ask him that question without the audience knowing so that it looks more fluid, so that we don't have to interrupt and say, hey, are you going to do this? All online, we can avoid all of that. So Beelive connects to your computer's camera and microphone, so just making it really easy. All you have to do is just open up the program. You can also get an easy access link to send to your guests. However, with Beelive, when you send them that link, they will need to log in to Beelive, not necessarily creating an account, but they just need to log in either through their Facebook or their Gmail account. The ability to share your screen is also available with Beelive. You can also share other media such as photos and videos. And you can also customize the on-screen text, which is an example that I have on the screenshot on the screen. I just have written hello everyone, but you can put like the title of your webinar series. There also is an option to do a scrolling text bar if you want to make things a little bit more fancy. With Beelive, it connects to a personal social media account. So if you are running this for your company, just be aware of that if you're going to be sharing the login, because currently Beelive doesn't offer a Teams function. So when you set this up, it's going to be connected to whatever social media accounts you connect it to. So a lot of times people are admins on pages. So if you're going to be sharing this login, just keep that in the back of your mind that whoever has your login can stream to whatever social accounts are attached to this page. Next is Streamyard. Streamyard is my personal go-to for streaming live. The free version can get you very far with access to various platforms. So it'll help, you can stream live to Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You can have up to 6 on-screen guests with the free version, and you can also set your brand colors. The free version gives you up to 20 hours of streaming for each month. So you have 20 total hours in a 30-day period to stream as much as you want. If you decide to upgrade to the paid version, you'll be able to stream to multiple social channels at once. So you can say, I want to stream to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube all at the same time. You can have up to 10 on-screen guests. You can upload your logo and your brand colors. You can do custom overlays and backgrounds. So for example, on the screenshot right now, it's just a black background, but then you can actually put in like your colors. You can put something fancy back there. And then also with the paid version, you have unlimited streaming and a ton of other options as well. Streamyard also allows you to record broadcasts without going live. From there, you can edit the video in whatever preferred platform you want, and then you can showcase it wherever. And this is really great, especially if you want to upload it to your website, if you want to send it in an email, if you want to just keep it for your archives, or if it's just because you realize you didn't share it to a different platform, you can download it and then share it to that platform later on. So Streamyard, like Beelive, offers a private chat as well as a spot to monitor and reply to live comments. You also have the option to display your comments directly on the live broadcast. And again, it's really important if you just want to make sure that everyone is getting the same information about a very key point. Streamyard gives you the option to save multiple brand logos and colors directly into the site, which is great if you're connected to multiple different brand names. So for example, like the Greater Green Bay Chamber, they have a lot of different like hubs underneath the full umbrella name of the Greater Green Bay Chamber. So this is really great if you want to make sure that you have access to the chamber logo, startup hub logo, current event or current logo. You can have that all saved in this account so that when you want to go live for different departments, you can just switch those logos out really, really easily. Streamyard connects you to anyone's social media account. For example, if you are an admin on various Facebook pages, you can log in with your information and then get connected to those pages. And it's similar to Beelive, where you have one login. There's no team function, so you have one login, which is someone's email address. So whoever has that email address to get into that account, you have access to whatever social channels are connected to that. The cool thing about StreamYard is that there is no password. You just have an email. So every time you log in, you enter your email and then it sends you a code to that email address. So it's a little more security that way. Also though, with that, StreamYard does allow you to switch the email account that it's associated to. So this is really helpful if you need to give access to someone else in your work, which we have done at Leonard and Finco. Where I wasn't available to do a StreamYard at a certain time. So I was able to transfer the account over to one of my coworkers so that they could easily log in and do the live stream. And we have it all connected to our work social account, so I wasn't concerned about sharing anything personally. Now there's a feature that I love that StreamYard and Beelive both have, and it's the function to schedule your live broadcast so your followers can know exactly when to expect you online. This shows up as a post on your social channels, which makes it easier to share and let people know where to watch your live content. So you can add in your event title and the description, which will also show up on the post. And this is really helpful because I have noticed a lot of people get confused on where they're supposed to go to watch a live video, especially if you've already set up a Facebook event for it. So this way it'll show up as a post. You can set these schedules up to 7 days before the event. So then you can use that to share the post to everybody to be like, hey, this is where you're going to need to go. And what I also find really interesting is that it tells right on the post, it says whoever is posting it plans to go live, and then it'll tell you what the topic is. And then as it gets closer, so like on the day of, it'll start giving you a countdown of like when they're going to be going live. So if they're going to be going live at noon, it'll start doing a countdown saying, hey, they plan to go live in 5 minutes. So then people can kind of keep connected that way. Now with both of these platforms, there is a little bit of a learning curve. So we just suggest to take your time, and if you can, connect your streaming site to a Facebook page, a Twitter page that isn't public or isn't going to be seen by your immediate audience. So if you feel comfortable, connect it to your personal account and then just kind of test things out. Or if you need to, just create an alias page and then stream to that, because we want to encourage you to test as much as possible. Scott and I have been doing these lives for a while, and every single time we test things out, just because we want to make sure everything works smoothly. And especially with StreamYard, I always encourage people to log in at least 15 minutes beforehand to test out the video, test out the audio, make sure everything in your background looks good, because you want to make sure all that is set to go before you go live.
Thanks, Katie. Now, talking about equipment, some of the tools of the trade. And There are a lot of options when it comes to the equipment to use for going live. And it's a matter of finding out what you need for what you want to accomplish and what you're comfortable with. You could stick with the very basic and have that camera phone right in front of you, or you can look to enhance things a little bit. Again, it depends. If it's one speaker doing a presentation, that's one thing. If you have several people involved, that's a whole nother event. So, of course, the first thing you need is a camera. There's no doubt about that. For most of us, that means using our camera phone. Whether it's an iPhone or an Android, with the phones today, the advances that they have made with those, you get some great video and visuals from your handheld phone like that. But there are other options as well. You can see the video camera here, the Sony model that is in the photo. That video camera could be used if you plug into your computer. Makes it a little bit more complicated, or you can record something. Obviously, that's not going live, but it's a good option. And in today's world, DSLR cameras like the Nikon here are not just still photography cameras anymore. Most of them now offer video. You can plug microphone right into that. And it's another option that you can consider, again, depending on what your goals are and what your budget is as well, and what you hope to accomplish by going live. Other tools of the trade, I think one of the most important things is if you're going to do a number of go live events or go live a number of times, a tripod is a very good investment. Whether it's a full tripod like the one here on the right, or something like the GorillaPod, which is the smaller one on the bottom there. The GorillaPod is only probably a foot tall, but it offers a lot of options, flexible legs that you can do a lot of different things with. But the real key with having a tripod is, you're going to have a steady picture for your audience. As Katie has pointed out a number of times, and you can think that if you're at an event and you're going to go live, you can think that holding up that camera in front of you is no big deal for 10, 15 minutes or whatever. It is, and depending on how close you are, it can really make a big difference in how that picture appears to your audience. And boy, those arms can get a little tired after just a short time, and you won't have the live stream that you want to have. The other picture here on this page is a camera mount for a camera phone. It's essential if you're going to be working with a tripod. They're usually pretty flexible. They can go horizontal or vertical, and again, it's a nice accessory to have if you're going to be doing live streams on a regular basis.
Yeah, and tripods really are not that expensive anymore. You can get fairly cheap ones for under $20, and we really recommend them, especially if you're doing something with a larger audience. It's different if it's just going to be you. But if you're going to be doing a news conference, for example, those usually take a little bit longer. So make sure that you're saving your arm strength and get that tripod. It's just going to make your life a whole heck of a lot easier.
Next, we want to talk about our microphones. And actually, in most cases, again, depending on what type of event it is, the microphone on your camera phone will work just fine. But if you can't get close enough because it's a bigger event, you'll definitely want to consider some of the options for microphone. Here on the upper left is a standard microphone, mic and a cord. In today's world, everybody wants to go wireless, but this is still an option. The key here is to make sure that it's compatible with your phone, with your camera phone. That can be a real issue, particularly with some of the newer iPhones and some of the newer cameras that are coming out. You want to make sure that it works, and you want to make sure ahead of time. So it's another situation where we encourage you to test. There are some adapters. There are other items that can be used to make sure that they do work. So you might have to look into those types of things. The same with the lavalier mic or the clip-on microphone. That's the lower picture here. Very nice option if you have just one speaker. You can get real good audio, whether that's corded or wireless. Again, you want to make sure that it fits and that it works with the phone and the camera that you have. Now, a newer option is the microphone that you see on the upper right. The Rode microphone is a boom mic that connects right to the lightning plug if you're using an iPhone. And it's a great option, and you can point it directly at the speaker and still be several feet away and get really good audio that way. So it's a good option. Again, with all of these, you want to make sure that it's compatible, you know, and make sure if you need to use an interface or an adapter of some kind that you have that before you hit that go live button. So we talked earlier about lighting, and lighting is certainly important. I don't know how many times you or I have gone onto Facebook, we see something that's too dark, and we move right on. So you want to make sure that the lighting is good, and there are lots of options when it comes to lighting these days. You know, you want to be sure that people can see what they should be seeing when you go live. One option here on the left is the ring light, and certainly they are becoming quite popular and can be found in a wide range of sizes. I've seen them up to 19 inches in diameter, which leaves plenty of room for you to mount your phone, your camera phone in the middle, even with a microphone attached to it. It gives you all of the options. The ring light is probably very good in a tighter session, especially if you're having one or two people. If it's a bigger group, you may want to go to a video conference lighting or the box light, like is shown in the video rig here on the right-hand side of the screen. The video rig is also can be very helpful. If you look at this, it's an attachment that can go right on top of a tripod. Could also be held if need be, but you could mount your camera right in the middle of the video rig, have the box lights on top. You can have the microphone attached to the top as well. And it's just a nice piece of equipment that provides some flexibility and adds a little professionalism to it too. And then you can be all set to have a great live stream. The rig, I should point out, can be used. It's horizontal in this picture, but it also can be used vertically, so that depending on which way you want to shoot your video or shoot your live shot, it can has that flexibility as well.
And then with all of these equipments, we're not saying that you have to buy any of these things to do a live. It's definitely just an option for you to make your broadcast a little bit better. But there are definitely ways that you could jerry-rig any of this to make it work for what you have. I've seen a lot of people do live broadcasts where they set their phone up on boxes and books to make that work. If you are doing it in your home and you have just standard lamps in your house, you can definitely manipulate the shades and your blinds to really help you with the lighting around you. Definitely with the sound, you could put little boxes around your phone to amplify the sound a little bit better. There are plenty of different ways that you can make your productions better without buying these things. But everything that we've showed you, they are not that expensive. There are a ton of options out there, and there is definitely a lot of used stuff that you can buy too to help you as well.
Yep.
So tips for going live. The number one thing that we will tell everyone is make sure that you are 100% ready to go before you hit the go live button, before you hit the record button. You don't want your video to get started and then get shared later on because of a blunder that was made in the beginning. I know that I've personally made this mistake before in the past where I hit the go live and I didn't realize we were live, and I was like, okay, just so you know, we're live. You also don't want to make sure that your audience isn't catching you guys doing a conversation that has nothing to do with the video. Because it could just end up being embarrassing for yourself, your company, your guests, sometimes even your audience. So always make sure that you are 100% ready to go beforehand. Regarding the time length of your lives, unless you're showcasing a live performance such as a play, a musical, or a concert, keep your live streams to a decent time length. An hour is pushing your audience's attention span. Remember that a majority of your viewers are watching it from their mobile device. And they could also be on the move. They could be watching it while they're on the train. They could be listening to you while they're driving to pick up their kids. They could be listening to it while they're at school. So just keep that in mind that how long would you want to sit and hold your phone to watch something live like that? Also, just like your Zoom meetings that you use for work, always assume that you are on and you're being recorded. So make sure you're aware of your surroundings for anything that could influence your video. So for example, if you're going to be streaming from home, if you have kids and pets, be aware of them. Are they going to interrupt you? Are they going to join your broadcast? If you're out in public, be aware of the traffic, be aware of the weather, be aware if there's going to be people around you that could influence what you are going on or what's going on. When you start your video, give your audience an indication of what you're going to be discussing in the video. Even if you have an event or a topic posted in the post copy, it's still a good thing just to say, hey, this is what we're going to be discussing today. So just a small introduction, and then also let them know what's going to be happening after the live has ended. So is there action that they need to take? Do they need to go to a website? Do they need to go to a store? Let them know where they're going to find the video afterwards. Which brings me to the last point, is make sure your video is accessible to anyone who wasn't able to watch it live. Facebook right now lets you download your live videos, and all of the platforms will let you reshare a post for your live video. This is great content to use, so don't just let it sit and waste it. Use it again, share it with other people, take that link and put it on a different social channel, let them know, hey, come visit us on this platform and watch our live. So it's just some key takeaways for you guys. With anything you do on live, make sure you're finding the right reason to do it. Not every message needs to be done in a live way. It could just be still used as a normal post. So make sure that the information you're putting out in a live stream is going to be engaging for both you and your audience. Test, test, and test again. No matter how many times you do this, always test your equipment, test the location. Doesn't matter how confident you are, you will thank yourself in the end by going and testing everything. Scott and I do this all the time, just because even if you charge everything up, if you test it, you know for sure it's going to work. And also too, if you're going to be doing something with guests where you're inviting them in, have them log on to the third-party streaming site a little bit early to make sure that their audio is working, to make sure their video looks good. And also too, you just want to take a second to take in your surroundings. Do you need to move anything? Do you need to add anything in? So having that time set to test everything is going to make things a whole heck of a lot easier for you. Also, make sure you're choosing the correct platform. Figure out where your audience will be during the time you want to go live. If you want to do a live broadcast at 11 a.m. on Facebook, but your audience actually isn't there, then don't do it. Do it during a time when you know your audience will be online. Make sure you're using the right tools. If you only have access to your phone, make sure you're really comfortable with using your phone. If you bought all these extra equipment, make sure you're really comfortable with using that equipment and making sure that it's compatible. We've done trial and error with the newer iPhones, and we had to figure out like, okay, well, this isn't going to work with the new iPhone. We have to find an adapter. Or we found out that this is actually using the microphone as a speaker and not actually as a microphone. So just make sure you're aware of the tools that you're using. And last but not least, have fun with your live broadcast. Going live is a way for you to connect differently with your audience, to let them know directly from your mouth what is going on. So have fun with it. Be creative. show them who you are behind the door. So now we're going to open it up to you guys if you have any questions on how to go live, tips for how to go live, anything you got, we'll get an answer for you.
And while you're thinking of questions, let me throw out a shameless promotion of the session number 3 for the Social Media for Business 2.0 Beyond the Basics. That is scheduled for December 3rd, and it again will be at 8 in the morning. What's your story? Started out with Snapchat, adapted by Facebook and Instagram, and now stories boom with short videos from TikTok and everywhere else. So that'll be the focus of the next in the series, number 3 out of 6. Questions?
Yes, good morning. This is Brenda. So my question would be, if we've got several people that are wanting to do a live stream that aren't tech savvy, what would be the easiest one for them to try?
Well, I found Streamyard to be the easiest to work with. I actually did a little mini training session with the LNF crew for it. And I just find it to be really simple. What I really like with StreamYard is that when you're inviting guests, they don't need to log into anything. It's literally, they just click the link and they are brought to the broadcast session of StreamYard. And so that's really easy, I think, for me too. And there isn't a lot of do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Like, honestly, you could just log into StreamYard, connect whatever social channel you want, and hit go live. Like, there really isn't anything else that you truly need to do on it. All of the other features are just for funsies.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. So when you go live, is there any sort of countdown, or are you just like immediately on video?
It's a really good question. For all of the streaming sites, they do give you a 3-second countdown.
Okay.
So it'll do 3, 2, 1. For Facebook Live, they kind of do a countdown because a lot of times when you're doing Facebook Live, you're doing it directly from your phone. So then you hit the button and it usually just goes, it gives you like a second and then it says you're recording. So when it comes off of your phone, that's when you want to just be a little bit more conscious of the fact that you will be going right away. Where the streaming sites, they give you a little bit of a buffer.
All right. Thank you.
Next question, anybody?
I'm just looking in the chat right now. And
chat,
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin pointed out that they did a live interactive virtual tour of their facility for a customer and utilized a handheld gimbal for stabilization and worked perfectly. And that's certainly another tool that's out there. I find the gimbals to be pretty darn cool. Haven't quite figured out how they work and do it so well, but it certainly adds that stabilization and it just keeps the video looking good so that people stick with you.
Yeah, and you might think that your phone isn't that heavy, but hold your phone like this for at least 5 minutes and your arms are going to get really, really tired. And if you've watched any of the newer like horror movies and they have like that POV kind of feel and it's really, really shaky, that can be really distracting to a lot of people. So if you're putting it on a tripod, that shakiness goes away. And then also too, it gives you free range to do whatever you want with your hands. So like for me, I talk a lot with my hands. So if I'm trying to talk to a partner of mine while I'm doing a Facebook Live, it's gonna be really hard for me to do that.
Bill has asked the question, can you talk more about how to determine the right day and time to post videos?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So for example, on Facebook, it'll tell you when, in your insights, it'll tell you when your audience is most likely to be online at a given time and day. So that's a good indication. So if your audience is online more later in the day, then save those lives for going later in the day. Also, you want to keep in mind of what's going on in your community. So for example, living in Green Bay, if you plan to do a live broadcast during the middle of a Packer game, you probably aren't going to get a lot of viewers. So just keep in mind if there's other big events going on. Actually, a good example is today. For Veterans Day, a lot of things start at 11 o'clock today. And if you are planning to go live and it has nothing to do with Veterans Day, you're probably going to see some competition there with your audience wanting to look at other things. So just keeping in mind of truly when your audience is going to be online on those social platforms, and then what's going on in your community, because those things will all affect who's going to watch it and when they're going to watch it.
And in today's world, you know, doing something else on social media at 11 o'clock today, you might even get some heat for it, not just not have the audience that you're expecting. You know, people are not afraid to comment anymore. So they might wonder what you were thinking when you decided to do this go live at the 11 o'clock on the 11th day of the 11th month.
And then also too, don't just get discouraged when you do a live at a specific time and your viewer count is really low. Just because, especially with how the world is today, it's a little bit harder to figure out truly when people are going to be online, because everybody's kind of online and not online at the same time. And but with all the lives that I've done recently, the cool thing is that these videos stay on your social platforms. So people will go back and rewatch them. So you might not see it at that exact time, but people will go back and watch them later. I know a lot of people prefer it that way just because then they eliminate any distractions on their end. And then they can just fast forward to whatever part they really truly want to focus on.
Other questions?
It looks like we don't have any more questions. I want to thank Scott and Katie again for giving us great information. And if you have any further questions, they had their contact information up. Otherwise, we can send it out. You just reach out to me. But thank you all for attending, and we will see you on December 3rd for the next session in our series on telling your story.
That's right.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye.